Mike started out as a student athlete at Crestville Junior High School. Crestville is where he met Principal Jeff Brokamp. One morning, Mr. Brokamp came into the gym as he was playing, and he noticed that as a seventh grader, he was dominating In the summer of Mike's 8th grade year, at a basketball tournament in Pittsburgh, Mick Cronin introduced him to Clark Francis of Hoop Scoop magazine. The magazine was one of the top high school recruiting magazines. Once word got out that there was a local player ranked that high, Mike Peake sat down with a reporter by the name of Richard Skinner. At the time, Richard Skinner was a sports reporter for the Cincinnati Post. The summer of his freshman year, Mike Peake boarded a plane with Mick Cronin headed to Adidas ABCD camp, which was held in Newark, New Jersey, on the campus of Fairleigh Dickinson University. Antoine Peake was Mike's little brother, and he excelled at football, but he wanted to play basketball like his big brother, so Mike taught him. During the summer of his summer year, Mick Cronin was asked by Mitch Malone if he knew a premier point guard. He recommended Mike Peake. The summer before Mike's senior year, he went back to ABCD camp, where he performed in front of Denny Crum, Bob Huggins, and Scooter McCrae. Later, after the games was over, Scooter McCrae asked Mike if he was interested in Louisville. Mike said yes. Due to Prop 8, Mike was ineligible to play at University of Louisville, so he received a call from Coach Ed Schilling at Wright State. Ed Schilling invited Mike to Wright State, and he was excited to be there as it seemed that all the students knew who he was. He was excited to be attending Wright State. Unfortunately for Mike, things didn't work out at Wright State, and he ended up at Schoolcraft College in Livonia, Michigan, where he was under Coach Briggs. Mike eventually left Schoolcraft to attend South Dakota State University. Mike and Coach Scott Nagy seemed to always be at opposite ends, and eventually Mike left South Dakota State.
This is the building I grew up in, man. My grandma, 946 Burton, right here. This was it. We're gonna take a walk around here. I gotta get this on. This building, man. This is my childhood right here. Come on, Sandra, you can go. He's asleep. Everybody be quiet. There's it right here. I got my first piece of cut right back here. Little shorty from school, from junior high. You know what I'm saying? I was in junior high, 7th grade. She told me she would meet me over my grandma's house. Bam, I get it in. Come on. You see how they looking? They like, what the fuck? Yeah, we got. I need my 40. Dang. Like, it used to be a dog, like, right over here. And I have my basketball. When I was a kid, I'd be dribbling my ball, and then go over there. I'm like, damn, how am I going to get my ball without that dog getting me, man? That dog was over here. I wonder who owned this house, man. I wonder who owned this house. Look at this, man. Look at this over here. Wow. My brother Antoine, he used to come over here, and you know, we was watching that movie Juice. So he'll be like, "Hey Q, hey Q." Ain't nobody in here. All this is condemned. My grandma, we live right up there at the top, man. This little place, man. Damn, this the. As you can see, we got a little Tupac going in there, but what's the name of this place? Queensgate. We got Queensgate down here, and this is a place where I remember I used to be riding in on the bus right here. this is when they take you in that right here, and then they open up them gates right there. They open up them gates, and then you go in through them double doors right there. You know what I'm saying? That's where you go in at. And I just remember being down here. Here it is right here, Sadly. Yeah, they still got the courts up, man. It's tore down. That's it right there. I'm about to pull right in there, man. Yep. Nah, we ain't shooting a ball over there, Johnny. But we gonna check it out. This Queen's Gate. Get a picture of that. Hold the ball. Don't let him drop that ball. Queen's Gate, man. That's where I was at. You know, I done been check out the floors. I done been on all these floors. The first 2 floors was the work detail floor. Then, you know, I done been on, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think the only floor I wasn't on, maybe I was on 8. Come on. Come on, John. Come on. Walk with me. Been on these floors. I just remember when I was coming in here, I used to feel like my life was over. Like, how did I go from playing ball to, you know, being locked up in this place? Come on. Don't worry about it. Come on, Angela, what you doing? You know, people used to pull up right over here. Women used to pull up and, you know, show their breasts, how they breast pulled all that. And, you know, guys be sitting in the window. Oh my God, you know how many times I've been sitting in this window, sitting in these windows. You can see the river over here. You know, so I'm just sitting in those windows, just thinking like. And then when I first came in here, I used to come in, I was all like, you know, like when I, you know, for my first time being in jail, I was all scared, like, you know, dang, you know, I was scared. I was calling my dad, you know, get me out of here, to being locked up for driving without no license because child support was suspending my license because I wasn't working. I was trying to figure out things. The jobs that I was making was paying me just enough to where I could eat, pay whoever I was staying with a little bit of money to, you know, to cover, and then gas, and then to be able to get back and forth to work. I wasn't able to make a sufficient amount required for them not to suspend my license and lock me up. So I was constantly coming in here. And so, like I said, I came in here my first time, scared to death, to coming in here 10 times later, you know, coming around that corner, because once they get you in, you turn, you know, they give you the rules, then you turn the corner. And once you turn the corner, that's when you see everybody. So I would turn that, my first time turning that corner, I was like looking all to turning that corner, looking for my homeboys, like, hey, what's up, my man? Hey, okay, let me put my, and I remember walking to my cell, thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm looking to have a good time in this place. I felt institutionalized, and I pretty much was. I mean, especially for some of the things I was doing. You know, I was gambling. I was all in the mix in here, and you know, making people, you know, pay up. I was giving out. I went from looking for a 2-for-1 for somebody to give me something to I was giving out 2-for-1s and 3-for-1s. But man. But again, look over here, man. You might get some ghosts, man. You know, film up there. You know how many times I've been looking out those windows, thinking to myself, like, man, my whole basketball career, my whole life came down to being locked up in here. You know, and then time and time again, just, life just never really was panning out for me. Go ahead and pause. So, so just to come down here and be able to just look back now, just to look back and, I got my associates. I went back. I got my associates. I got my bachelor's. I received my master's degree. I never would have thought that. Nobody, the way God came and interfered with where my life was going and brought me back up, because the whole time I was in this place, this place right here, the whole time I was in this place, I was praying and I was praying and I was praying and I didn't quite understand. I didn't quite understand how my life, how it came to this. I'm playing basketball down here. I'm homeless. And then another thing about being locked up in here, I went from being locked up in here to wanting to get out so bad. Like, I want to get out of this place so bad, to being locked up time and time again, thinking I'm homeless. The only thing I got to get out for is to go back to my car. I can't even make no, my life ain't moving along the way I feel like it should be, because, working a job, I couldn't quite grasp standing on a line and working. My back was hurting. I couldn't get that. But it went from, like, just being in this place, and like I said, about being institutionalized, I was happy to be in that place because I had nowhere else to go. I had nowhere else to go. And then that way I could just go in there. I had nowhere else to go. But every time I went in there, I tried to push the restart button and get myself together. I went in there with a girlfriend a couple times, and I was heartbroken. I was like, oh, I need to get back to my woman. She didn't care nothing about me. One of my last days down here was a time where I was just like, my last time getting out of here was right before they just shut it down completely, because now it's shut down. And like I said, before my last day here, it was a moment where I didn't know if I was coming back. I came back so many times, I was like, I'm sure I'll be back. I felt like,
When did they shut it down?
I'm not sure. But when they did shut it down, it was people that used to escape from there too, A lot of escapes happen from down here. Come on, Sandra. Walk slowly. That's it.
It's rolling.
See, when I was up in this place, I felt like especially like one of my last times being in here, I felt like, here is me. I'm here, and then here goes life. Life kept going, and I could see life going past me. Life moving on, and like I want to tell you, you come into a place. This is my stepson.
Johnny,
Don't worry about him. This is my stepson, and this thing is what I want to tell you is that life will continue to go on. You'll start seeing your friends with houses, places like this. You're going to start seeing your friends, because when you come into places like this, life stops. Everything stops. But life outside of here continues to go on. So when you're in a place like this, by the time you get out, depending on how much time you do, you're going to start seeing your friends' life, they're gonna start having houses, cars, they're gonna get married while your life is not even moving. You know, and then you're gonna feel like what happened to you? You're gonna start looking for people to blame, but never blame anybody, because only you yourself will get yourself in a place like this, you know? So, you know, the best advice I want to tell you is this man makes A's and B's. You want to continue doing that, because a lot of people start out good kids like this, little babies like this, doing well, and before you know it, you get with the wrong crowd. You'll be in a place like this, shooting hoops, shooting basketballs, trying to live up your own dreams. I think, you know, ultimately, sometimes when you pushing the restart button, this is ultimately where I got myself together at. You know, I was sitting here, I was thinking, ultimately this is where I got myself together at Queensgate. I was able to see exactly who I was, because when you go to prison, you'll find out real quick who are you. And I found out real quick that I was a survivor. And I knew that, you know what? Basketball days kind of came to an end, so I knew that I was on a new journey in life, but I didn't quite know what. You know, big visiting area. Somebody come visit you, this is where they go. There's a visiting entrance right here. Now I'm just visiting. Just visiting down here, man. With this visiting sign, check it out. I'm just visiting. You know, before it wasn't no just visiting. I was actually in here. You know, I have people coming to visit me. It's pretty empty now. You see, they shut it down. Sandra. Yep. That's the visiting room right there. When people come visit you. Sandra, y'all coming? Go ahead. I got him. Yep. Man, I remember Desiree used to come down here. She'd bring the baby. I remember, you know, it used to be hot. I used to always be locked up in the summertime. And Desiree came down here. The mother of my daughter, my very beautiful daughter, Nikayla, she came down here. I remember Nikayla was a baby. She had the car seat. And she was holding Nikayla. So by the time I came, they came down, because it was 500 people out here trying to visit, 1,100 people up here, you know. But, pardon me for my math. Anyways, so she would say, by the time I did come down, she would say, I've been here for 2.5 hours, sweating with the baby, rocking the baby to sleep, just waiting on you. And I was like, oh my God, he's cool, Angela. I'm like, you know, and I was like, oh baby, I miss you so much. I'm gonna get my life together when I get out of here. She was like, I hope so. And before I could get my life together, she was out of there. She was like, I can't wait on you to get your life together. And I know that's right. But you know, eventually it came together. Like 3 or 4 girlfriends later. You know, because when you're coming down here and you do this, let me tell you something, they leave you real quick. They stay with you for a minute, but then after you know, the good ones, they give you one chance where they let you get locked up and they come visit you, then they come down and they see you and they go through all that coming to visit you for months at a time. The good ones give you that one opportunity. And then once you kind of come back again, then they leave. The bad ones, they give you all the opportunities in the world. They let you keep getting locked up and coming back home to them, and getting locked up and coming back home to you, because they in the flow. They getting it on. They get it on every time you get locked up. They calling up Rod, Charles, and Craig. Oh, he locked up again. He locked up again. Them the bad ones. They'll let you keep getting out and coming back home, getting out. But the good ones gonna tell you, hey, don't do this no more. Don't get locked up no more, cause I can't do this again. And as soon as you get locked up, they out of there. You know, I picked up a buddy of mine, Donald, and you know, we had some dope fiend was following us in the car behind him. I mean, behind me. So I'm driving. I got a girl in the passenger seat. I got Donald in the back, and there's another girl. So, you know, we get down to like right here. The crackhead lived on that side. I get down to like this street right here. That's what they got. And I go to do this to turn around. And then as I was turning around, I seen a cop drive past going in this direction because this is a high drug populated area right here. So when I turned around, see where that guy is? He probably, you know, serving some dope right now. And then I pulled over right here. But then when I seen the cop go up there, he turned and went down this street. It was like 1 in the morning. So what I did, I decided, look, I'm just gonna go. And when I got right here, I seen the cop turning around. So I said, oh, shoot. So I gunned it as fast as I could. Look, 75 North, up there. I hit 75 North. I turned. The drug addict, he's behind me in the car. So I get on the highway and I gun it. I'm in a little GO prison. We 4 deep in a little GO prison. We get right here, the cop's on us. He's on us. So he pulls the guy over back there. I'm looking like, okay, who he gonna pull over first? He pulled over him. So this time I'm trying to get away. As soon as he pulled him over, he get right back on the highway and he gets to chasing me. So by this time, like I said, I went to jail 1,000 times. Here it is. I'm about to go back to jail again. I had a warrant for my arrest in Claremont County. And I had no license, and I was just in a heavily drug-populated area. I had a weed pipe on me. I wound up getting, you know, they have you in a Busted magazine here in Cincinnati. It's called Busted. So for all the charges that I was incurring, they tried to hit me with fleeing and looting, but I wasn't speeding. I took them on a low-speed chase, and they charged me with failure to comply. And one of the charges that they put in the magazine, in the Busted magazine, was only one charge, and it was not the failure to comply, not that I have warrants out of Claremont County, but the only charge they put in the Busted magazine was drug paraphernalia. And so when I got home, my dad showed it to me, and he was like, "Are you smoking crack?" I'm like, "Damn, smoking crack? That was a weed pipe, homie." And, you know, because most people don't ride around with weed pipes in their car. But the only reason I was riding around with a weed pipe in my car was because I was homeless. That was my home. Now my weed pipe's at home. I still got a weed pipe, but it's at home.
Okay.
Talbot House, man. Can you get this? Talbot House, Gulf Wind Center. That's where I was at, man. I was locked up in here, man. I got probation. I wound up, I had caught a case like right after I got finished playing ball. I came home, I was with a buddy, and we was riding. I had some coke. We get pulled over. I get caught with it. I get probation, and I was supposed to be able to eat clean. But I kept violating. You know, I couldn't stop smoking weed. So I'm smoking weed, and then they violated me, to where they asked me, I violated like my 3rd time, and the judge was like, you can go to prison or you could come to this inpatient place. You know, and I'm just like, you know, of course I didn't want to go to prison, so I agreed to come to this Talbot House, and I'm up in here with, you know, all kind of crazies and people, you know, and you know, I wasn't doing the coke, I was actually selling the coke. but I violated for some marijuana, and I couldn't stop smoking that weed. But I'm in here with people that's doing all kind of shit. Come on over. Yeah, my daughter's mom, she would come up here and visit, and this is before we even had a kid. And I remember like my window. I had a window in this place. My window was like right up here, so I could see my daughter's mom, and she would come up and she would park right here. Like I said, this is before we had a kid, and I said this was that one good girl, that gave me that. She gave me a couple chances, So she would show up right here, and I would be looking out that window, and she'd be like, I got a new dress, and I'm gonna come up here and show you my new dress, and she'd have on her new dress, and as you can see, did you get that window up there? And I'll be looking out the window, and she'll be showing me her dress and modeling her dress to me, and filming the dope fiends over here that's looking. So, and again, this is where I was at. I was locked up in this place, man. Come on, get it out. Man, I used to be sitting out here, man. Just like, hey, I used to be sitting out here just like over here. They sitting out here, can't even get out. Now, all you do is something just like these motherfuckers. All right. You recording?
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is where I came, man, when I first got out of prison in 2009. I came from the hood, living in the hood, to, a friend of mine helping me out. She stayed out this way. And I used to cut up this way, walk into the Speedway, go get some candy or whatever. And this right here, this bus stop right here, this right where this pole at, this used to be the bus stop where Sharina lived at. Well, she used to have sex right there at the bus stop. And I'll walk by see her, and I'll be like, hey, how you doing? And she'd be like, hey. So one time I remember I was walking Nikayla right here, right? And Sharina and them lived at this last one right here with the blue door. And Bobo used to be sitting in the window like the big dog. He died. So I'll be out here walking around wondering, what I'm gonna do with my life, man. And just to see how nice it was out here, I'm like, man, I wanna be, living out here like this. And the place that we lived, there was an old lady that owned this place. She wanted a warm in her leg for it. It was right here. Yeah, 9515. That's where I came to.